Hello dear students, welcome once again myself Vijay S. Patole, Assistant Professor in Rayat Shikshan Samstha's Swami Sajananda Bharati College of Education, Srirampur. Today we are going to learn about the difference between approach, method and technique. And this is of the course BEd course 10703 Pedagogy of School Subject English. Dear student, as you know very well that there are different methods, techniques and approaches for teaching of English language. So that somewhere in what way we have to adopt particular method, approach and technique, sometimes we are confused in a state. So first of all, we need to see what is the minor difference between these three one, that is approach, method and technique. Let's see about approach. In this one approach, there are two types of approaches: communicative approach and structural approach. And in method, direct method, based method, grammar translation method, eclectic method, holistic method. These are the methods of teaching of English language. Then techniques. Some techniques are also there which are used by the teacher in his day-to-day teaching and learning. Technique means dramatization, role play, likewise language game. First of all, see what is meant by approach. An approach is a set of correlative assumptions dealing with the nature of language and its teaching and learning. Means set of correlative assumptions. Sometimes we need to assume one. Suppose there is a topic based on conversation, and where in your class you are going to converse with the students, and it is expected from your teaching that student must be well versed in conversation skill. Suppose there is dialogue between a teacher and student, and teacher sometimes asks to his students, and student has to reply him, and it is the understanding of teacher. Suppose such type of approaches are there, then he has to consider himself that while teaching of English content with traditional way of teaching, meanwhile I need to use an approach which is suitable for particular content to teach particular communication skill to the student. Likewise, suppose if you are dealing with grammatical operations, at that time you need to categorize the sentence into different parts, or parts of the sentences. Likewise, sometimes formulas are there, idioms are there, then the words and word formations are there, then sentences are there. So that in this class it is expected that you have to adopt structural approach in your specific class or in your respective class, so that you need to assume yourself that I have to follow this approach. And move towards method. What is meant by method? Method is a procedure adopted by teacher to achieve the goals and make learning easy and effective one. Means somewhere for teaching of content, particular method should be used by the teacher himself or herself to achieve the objectives of particular curriculum or particular standard, so that method is known as procedure, whereas an approach is a set of correlative assumptions. So that with the help of this procedure, teacher can achieve the goals and he makes learning more effective and easier one. And what happens in technique? What is technique? Technique is a particular trick, stratagem or contrivance used to accomplish an immediate objective. Immediate objective means I have to give the exposure to my student and I have to distribute such some dialogues among the students so that they have to deliver these dialogues effectively according to the need of character in the particular contact, so that I will use the trick, that is the role play. Some dialogues will be assigned to the students and they are expected to deliver the dialogues for 1 minute or 2 minutes only. Means this is the technique. And what is the difference? Technique is particular trick to accomplish the immediate objective. When we see second point in approach, it describes the nature of subject matter to be taught. Means in what way I have to taught a particular content to the students. Okay, the nature of subject matter to be taught means in which way I have to deliver particular content in the classes. Likewise, in method, it is the process of planning, sharing and evaluating learning with the group of students. Means in this method there is always planning. Means when there is a lecture or when there is teaching, then there is little bit planning, then explanation is there, then evaluating is there. Means according to the planning all the content should be delivered properly or feedback should be taken with the help of evaluation from the student, that is recapitulation topic. Okay, means it is the process of planning where it deals with the nature of subject matter. And what happens in technique? It is the skill of performing classroom activities. Okay, means whatever skill is going to be performed by the students or teacher, it will be known as or called as classroom activity. And techniques are mostly used to perform classroom activities. Methods are mostly used for the teaching with the planning. And in approach, it describes the nature of subject matter to be taught. If we see the third point of approach, it is systematic way of arriving towards the language. Means in this approach, the first intention is to learn the language by using different ways, and it is the systematic ways where communicative approach is there. In communicative approach, more emphasis is given on communication skill of the students or learners. And what we have to learn? First of all, we have to learn communication, how the communication forms, and structure, how the structure forms, what are the different elements of the structure. Means it is the systematic way. Whereas in method, it is an overall plan for the orderly presentation of language. I have to present the language, yes, but in what way? According to the plan, and according to the plan I need particular content for the presentation purpose only. And in technique, it is an art of completing the set task. Okay, means in particular content, it is art of completing task. Means different language related tasks are given in the books. According to the content, you need to complete such task for few minutes in overall teaching. Then fourth one, it is that it is known as axiomatic. Approach is always axiomatic, whereas method is procedural part of teaching and learning. and in technique it is implementational only. Means whatever tasks are there, we have to implement as a teacher to make them understand, okay, to give the exposure to the students in the particular class. And fifth point, for example, direct method, grammar translation method. See, in this one, structural and communicative approach are the parts of approach, and methods are direct method, grammar translation method, Dr. West method. Actually means it was written in wrong way. It should be here and this should be here one. And in techniques, which techniques? For example, storytelling, it is the technique. Dramatization, the language games, etc. are the techniques of teaching. Okay, so that as a student teacher, you should know the proper difference between approach, method and techniques. Okay, means approach is a set of correlative assumptions, whereas method is procedural and technique is a particular trick. Okay, thank you very much dear student. Thanks for listening. Have a nice day.